It looks like Christmas outside, but it's the week before Halloween. Hello and welcome. My name is Grace, and this is my channel. So for today's video, I thought we'd do a little, me. I do a little coffee chit-chat, show and tell. It really has been like Christmas at my house. I got lots of mail this week. I did some thrifting earlier in the week, or last weekend. So I did some thrifting last weekend. I got some stuff in the mail that I purchased. I got tons of gifts in the mail. So let's begin. First, I'll start with my little thrift haul. And it wasn't a huge haul. It was just like some things, but just to show you, like, because I often talk about thrifting and it looks, when I record a video, it looks like I score every time I go to a thrift store, and that's not true. I do not. When I score big. Sometimes I score small. This time I scored a little average. A little bit had to do with the fact that I really wanted to get some things, and the rest of them were just things that I, happened to find. So I think I'll start with little practical things. These guys are thread cutters, or literally it's a blade. It's a round blade that's inside this kind of thing. If you knit, crochet, sew, especially if you knit or crochet, you're familiar with these things. I got these for $1 each. Here in Canada, they cost like $15 a piece. So, I got two. It was interesting. It was funny because they were in with the jewelry, the costume jewelry. And so that's where I got it. And I'm just going to pass them on to my daughters who don't, my daughter that doesn't have one, or anyone else who doesn't have one. Keep a spare for myself, whatever. Still in the costume jewelry section, I did score some cute things that I'm going to use for other crafts, or well, one of them is like, not really, I'm not going to use it for another craft. It's a really nice glass beaded necklace. It looks like smoky quartz and jet, but it's not. I don't think it is. I think it's just straight glass, and I thought it looked really nice. I like these kind of things. I probably don't wear them as much as I actually just, hold them and play with them and that kind of thing. I just love the way they feel. They're nicely weighted. They remind me of people in my life that I loved, that I still love, but they're gone, right? Anyway. I also scored this. And like, these were like all like $1, $1.50, that kind of stuff, right? These guys, I love these guys. Okay, like I'd seen them. I want to say I saw them at a kiosk at the mall, and they were selling these bracelets for like $15 or something like that. And so, yeah, I just love their faces. I love these beads. My friend sent me this guy with these nice beads on this safety pin. I love this gold safety pin. These safety pins remind me of the early 80s. Love it. What else did I receive? So that was and one last thing that I scored at thrift. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this organized, but you know me. Things will creep in. All right. And this little lady, I think she was $3 or $4. Look at her face. My only issue, so I don't know. I imagine she doesn't have a tag on her, and I'm not sure what collection she's from or who the creator is. She's really she's weighted really nicely. She might even be a Barbie because she appears to have Barbie eyes. She's gonna have a complete makeover, just like I did on my Instagram, if you follow me there, that's where I usually end up posting before and after pictures of when I bring home either a kitchen witch or this is new to me, fairy. I love her shoes. They literally are leaves wrapped around her feet. But she's a little too commercial. She's not wild enough. So she's going to be undergoing a little makeover by me. What I did was I did the same thing. I do the same thing with my witches. Not all of them, but the ones that come that need, they don't quite look like themselves yet. On my Instagram, I was saying I have Helga, my hedge witch, where I have the before and after picture, before like how she was when I brought her home from the thrift store, and then when I made her clothing and her accessories and all that, and what she looks like now. So I wait. So what I do with stuff like this is that I just let it sit for a while, and I just let it tell me who they are. So she'll tell me who she is, and then I will get to work with making her look like who she is. All right. So that's my fairy. So far, she does not have a name. She may have a commercial name I'm not familiar with. I don't care. I don't know who she is. I don't know where she came from. I want to keep it that way. All right. Next thing I received in the mail was, this too was thrift. Same Thrift Haul. I couldn't leave her there. It's so cute. I know it's blurry, but you could tell. All right, it's a pin. Next thing was an eBay thing. I love vintage peanuts, vintage Charlie Brown. So I got these on eBay, and they look pretty beat up, and they were grimy when I got them. They clean up really nice. They're perfect for change, or it looks they look pretty clean on the inside. Well, they are clean on the inside. Just it's yellow fabric on the inside, or maybe yellowed over time, no matter. But they're clean, they don't smell. No. Well, okay, they smell a bit like Florida water now, because after I wash them with soap and water, then I do my thing. All right. So I think these are really cute, and I just love me my vintage peanuts stuff. Okay. I don't have a lot, but I like it vintage. Okay. The next thing I received, I purchased on Etsy, and I purchased these prayer beads. They're Morgan prayer beads, and I bought them from Stellar Tarot, from Jess Johnson, who has her channel on YouTube, Stellar Tarot. And it's got a wolf at one end, a raven at the other, and a pentacle. And oh my gosh, it's got nice heft, and I really like it. We live in the same province. It was pretty quick for me to receive it in the mail too. It came in this sexy little bag. I love these. I love these when they're really tiny, and when they're different color, like when I receive a color other than white, right? But that's because I have lots of white ones, which I do use a lot of. Okay. I just said that because out of the corner of my eye. So I received one that's white, and I don't want my friend who sent it to me to say, "Oh my gosh, I sent you a white one. You don't like them." No, that's not true. I'm just saying that it's a bit of a big deal that it's tiny and it's black. Okay, next. The next are still purchases by me. So I have a recent video where I feature. No, this wasn't a purchase, but this was a gift from my husband. Sorry. My El Goliath Tarot. I am loving it, loving it, loving it. It lives in this bag. The same day I received El Goliath, I received 100 ink animals. The creator is from British Columbia. This is the guidebook, and it's printed upside down. I reached out to the creator to let her know, hey, did you know your guidebook is printed upside down? So so here, it's not the guidebook actually, it's the cover that's glued on upside down. There we go. The creator is Jessica Gowling. It's literally 100 cards. They are playing card size. So here, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I reached out to the creator just to let her know, hey, did you know your book was upside down? And she offered to send me one that isn't upside down, but I don't see the point for her to, you know, to have to do that because there's nothing wrong with the book. It's just a cover that's glued on upside down. I received these the same day. Like I bought these on Etsy. And I received them the same day I received El Goliath. And I think anything that would come in at the same time as El Goliath would be overshadowed by El Goliath. So I'm not going to say what I think of this. Like I can't do an evaluation of this deck yet because, again, I received it and it was overshadowed by the incredibleness, the amazingness of the El Goliath Tarot. And it's not fair to compare this to El Goliath. This is an oracle deck. Each animal is hand-drawn. And the reason I got it was because the keywords... One, I like the simplicity. I'm not a minimalist, don't get me wrong. But I like the simplicity of the drawings. It's just the animal. And I do like the choice of keywords. It's if you're a word nerd, a language nerd, I speak quite a few languages, and I just love words. I love talking about the usage of words. I love, you know, that kind of stuff, right? And I'm always looking to increase my vocabulary. I'm just nerdy like that. Anyway, I got this oracle deck because the keywords were not the usual. Now, if you have a couple of animal decks, if you're like me in that you love animal decks and you pretty much try them all, you know what I'm saying. It's like because certain animal spirits have certain attributes. The actual animal in the wild has certain attributes, and these are typically the keywords that go with these animal cards. But I like that this creator decided to stretch that a little, to push that a little bit, to stretch. See, wolf, pressure is a great example. Capybara, digest. Dolphin play is one that's very, very common, ubiquitous, whatever. Lion, rest. Usually it's pride, leadership, that kind of stuff, right? Llama, socialize. So, and there's 100, and they're playing card size. Still, my hands are small, and I find it difficult to shuffle the full deck, but it doesn't matter. I love the backs. I like that, for those of you that it matters, that, reversible. What I did find interesting about this deck, and it's not by my doing, the cards reverse themselves in this deck. And it's probably the size of the cards and the amount of them. I don't know how to explain it, but the cards reverse themselves. So, at first I was not disappointed, but it was like, it was an underwhelmed feeling, and I think, or an unimpressed feeling. And I think it had more to do with it came in at the same time as El Goliath. But now that I'm looking through it today, I'm thinking, you know what, I need to give this a chance. And this is one of those decks that the guidebook, even though I used to be like hardline, guidebooks now, but I'm starting to soften on that because some people, they're writing some pretty good guidebooks. And this one's interesting. So you have the, for instance, for gorilla, control. She talks about silverback gorilla. And then there's an upright and reversed meaning. And it's not It's not. There's some unexpected stuff in here. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not the usual. I know. I'm holding it up this way because my book's upside down. But yeah, spent a lot of time on that just to say, I think I like it more than I thought I did. All right. The next thing I purchased, and I think it's the last one, was purely practical. It now lives in this bag. And I just got myself one of these currently available US Games Universal Tarot. And it's for reading for the public, reading for other people. And I guess this one just, I wanted the stars on the back. And these colors are not as saturated in person as they are on camera. But the current one, the vintage one that I sold, was not as saturated as the current US Games one. And this is basically, I purchased the Italian Morgan Greer. And I ended up rehoming that one pretty quick because it bothered me. There was a typo, and it's the same exact typo that was in the Aquarian La Stella, which is the plural article in front of the singular star word. Anyway, but it was also because I realized, even with the brand new Morgan Greer, that Morgan Greer is, my deck is my old ratty one, and I don't know. I wasn't going to use the replacement, is what I'm trying to say. But for when I'm reading for someone who, let's say, I feel drawn to using something a little more colorful, say, than my Centennial, because when I read for the public, I typically always read with Rider-Waite. Rider-Waite for me has always been the deck of divination, that my tool of divination that I use. So I have other decks. I use other decks for other purposes for myself, and even like for readings for other people. But the main one that I use is Rider-Waite, or Rider-Waite-Smith, to be more, to take into consideration the artist. And I thought that this one would be a nice colorful option in lieu of the Centennial, whenever the fancy strikes, right? Okay. So I'm just going to pause for a second, and I'll be back in a flash. Now on to a book I received. So I received this book. I received a signed copy. So I had this book. I lent it out, and then I wanted to get a new one, and it wasn't available to order in Canada. Pandemic probs, or bookworm probs during the pandemic. Anyway, so I reached out to Kimberly and I asked her if I could buy it through her, and she gifted me a signed copy. And I'm pretty excited to reread it. So this, I'm going to link to Kimberly's channel again. I linked to her channel. I linked to her channel in my playlist on dreams. And I'll just read the back of the book for you. It says, some see dreams as communications with another reality. That would be me. And others see them as insignificant random phenomena. That would be some other people. Dreams range from the mundane of day-to-day events to the extraordinary, including visions, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, interactions with the deceased, precognition, sleep paralysis, vivid hallucinations during transitions between sleep and wakefulness. Drawing on individuals' reports, this book explores the phenomena and the significance of extraordinary dreams. The author is Kimberly R. Mascaro, PhD, LMFT, and she has practiced psychotherapy focused on dream work, anxiety, women's recovery, trauma, grief, and loss for 20 years, and has served as faculty associate at Arizona State University for 11 years. She lives in California, and her website is consciouschimera.com. So this is not This is not one of those fluffy books that you pick up and it's, how can I put this? This is a work of academia, but it's not, and if you're not used to reading works of academia, it might come across a little dry, but I find that Kimberly does a real good job, she does a really good job in not making it so dry that it's not enjoyable. It's a fun read. It's not a very thick book, but the font's a little tiny, so if they had bumped up the font a little bit, it probably would be like a 200 and something page book. And I'm looking forward to rereading it. And it's published by McFarland. I imagine you could look it up on Amazon if you're interested. If not, you could contact Kimberly directly, and she'll be able to help you out. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm not going to show you. It's signed. It's personal, private. Okay. The next thing I received, and it's show and tell here today, is this. I received this from my friend Nancy, and I'm pretty excited. This is, I don't have this deck. I ordered it a while back and returned it immediately to Amazon. One, because it arrived, like the box arrived bashed, and secondly, the cardstock was horrible to touch. It was like the edges were not finished, and it just felt like splintery, like, hot to the touch. This is nice. This is nice cardstock. I've mentioned in the past that I have a suspicion regarding Llewellyn on their cardstock. When they first release a deck, it comes to you on beautiful cardstock, and then with subsequent printings, the cardstock goes down market. I'm pretty sure if you're watching me, you've seen this deck before. I was craving a different art style, something softer, something not RWS imagery. I wanted a step between my RWS and my Pagan Otherworlds, and this totally fits the bill. Because it comes on such beautiful cardstock, I've seen this completely trimmed naked of its borders, and it looks amazing, but I can't bring myself to trim this one because of the beautiful cardstock, and because I don't mind the borders. But if I were to come across a second copy, I would trim it completely naked, and I would have both. So thank you, Nancy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Which is funny because I'm going to be talking about a whole bunch of decks, and I have called my crystal collection drastically. But like I was telling a friend, truth be told, there was a lot in that collection that were decks that I would come across at used bookstores and thrift stores that for $3 to $6, yeah, sure, why not take a chance, that were complete busts. I can't leave it there. Of the many decks that I obtained that way, I've only kept 2. And I could tell you right away what they are. The Inner Child cards of Fairy Tale Tarot that I rebacked and trimmed the outermost white border. And Druid Animal, the first edition. I kept the box because it's so ratty, and it came with the spread cloth and everything, which I washed. I trimmed those cards. I'm glad I did. I know I'm going on a tangent, but this is just chit-chatting and hanging out, right? I know that sometimes I'll trim a deck and think, oh, I wished I'd kept it intact. And I'm trying to remember the Wildwood? The Wildwood Tarot was one that I received. I received a gifted copy that was already pre-trimmed. The borders were off. and it was edged, and I ended up purchasing one because they're crazy inexpensive for some reason. I think I got it was like $15 Canadian. If you're in America, that's like $7. No, I'm joking, but it's like $10, 12 maximum, closer to 11. Anyway, so I ended up purchasing one when at that price, because I thought, you know what, I think on the Wildwood I prefer the white borders, and I think it's because that deck to me is wintry. I know I've seen at other people's videos. It's so fascinating to me, right? Some people will describe it as a very feminine deck. To me, it's very masculine. Other people will describe it as autumnal. To me, it's very wintry, and I think that's why it needed the white borders back. So, yeah, that's one of them. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. Now, to the pièce de résistance. Oh my God, people. So, my friend sent me a care package. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with the stuff that are not decks. Okay, this. I am crazy for bar soap. And this is imported Italian bar soap. This is, I think it's ginseng and pomegranate. Let me see what it says here. Melograno ginseng. Yeah. So it's pomegranate and ginseng. This is a 200-gram bar, 7 ounces. It's massive. And it smells so good. With that, so I'm going to just show you the deck part. Look at this scarf. This is a Johnny Was scarf. Oh my God, people. Look at this. This is beautiful. Now I love scarves. Oh my God, can you see this? Okay. I love scarves. My dad used to take me shopping when I was a kid to department stores when he'd shop for his ladies. My dad was, I think I mentioned in a previous video, good looking guy, lots of girlfriends. Anyway, so he would be shopping for his ladies when he'd come to Montreal to visit his daughter, apparently. And he would take me to the mall, and we would go to the mall, and we would go to Holt Renfrew and all these high-end places and department stores and stuff like that. And he would pick out scarves as gifts for the ladies in his life. And it reminds me of that, even though it was freaking annoying when I was a kid. This reminded me of that, and how my dad just loved beautiful things. And this is a freaking beautiful thing, which I will be wearing a lot. So thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my God. Okay. And the next is all... Oh. Sorry. And the next is all decks. So I'm going to start with this one that I'd never heard of. And it's the Oracle of the Micro Patterns by Regina La Rocca. And I have a cousin, Regina, so this is like awesome. Anyway, Regina La Rocca, and it's the photographs are in. It has that similar look to it that Mag's Tree Whisper Oracle has. This is photographs. I'm pretty sure this is glacier photographs. I'm going to do better reviews as I work with these decks. This is just show and tell. And there's no words on these cards. There's no numbers. I still don't know how to use them. They're freaking amazing, though. They're freaking beautiful. Just like I don't know if they're right side up or upside down, no matter. And I think that's the point. But I'm going to read the guidebook, and there'll be a much better follow-up video on this deck. I love these backs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. It's kind of fun to, it's you know, to freshen up the card collection, like the tarot and oracle collection. It's even more fun when people send you stuff that you didn't even know. Like, let me continue. So the other one is the Naked Truth Oracle. I don't remember who the creator is. Because a little bit I'm overwhelmed, people. This was a box full of stuff. So this is the card I pulled yesterday, which is so apropos because I'm on a little bit of a break from work. I'm on a staycation. And yeah. So this is the Naked Truth Oracle. It comes with a downloadable journal and downloadable guidebook. I think it centers a lot around self-care, but I'm not again, don't quote me because I opened this package last night. And again, Christmas. In the same package was a tarot deck that did pique my interest when I saw it. Julianne Victoria did a video on this, and it's the Mythologia Phanica Tarot, Finnish mythology, and the guidebook. So I revisited my Mythic Tarot yesterday because I hadn't worked with it in a long time. I sold it. I repurchased the one I sold. I bought another one. It was a whole schmoz because I thought I was going to gift it to someone who then like had no interest in it. So now, yesterday I thought, you know what? Let me revisit this Mythic Tarot. This thing was like really important in my early tarot development. People, if you own the Mythic Tarot and it's sitting on a shelf because like me, you figure I've had this thing forever, and you know, I mean to study it, or whatever it is that we say to ourselves. It doesn't require studying. The guidebook, literally, you pull a card and you just read from the guidebook. Read the guidebook. Oh my gosh. My experience yesterday was, this is why this deck is iconic. The art, yeah. Okay, look, I'm the first one to say I prefer Trisha Newell's art only. You know what I mean? Caselli's art is digitized, it's vectorized. I don't know what the hell that is. It's like, no, it's not for me. But even if you go to a used bookstore and like me, you pick up like the guidebook, because I did that, right? After I sold it, I missed the guidebook. So I purchased myself just the guidebook off eBay, I think, for like $10. Even if it's just a guidebook and you read the myths attached to each major arcana, read the myths attached to each suit, read the guidebook. Oh my gosh, it still stands the test of time as an iconic tarot deck. And this is why I was drawn to Mythologia Phanica, because Greek myth is something that, growing up Italian, we're kind of adjacent to it, right? Because of Roman mythology. And so it's adjacent to us. But this is something completely foreign to me. And I'm so freaking excited about it. And it's the cards. The cards got me. The art is so my thing. The art, for me, it strikes, I wouldn't say it's not the same, don't get me wrong, but it rings the same bell as the Greenwood. It rings the same bell. More the greenwood than the wildwood. I put it in order, which wasn't too hard. You know, the majors are color coded. I love that the suits are elemental. I have to say I have a preference. I have a preference for the suits to be. I'm okay with. I love the traditional coins or coins or pentacles and all, cups and all that stuff. But I do automatically associate each suit with the element, which is why any deck that switches the suits and the elements away from what I'm familiar with, I tend to not be able to work with. So, oh my God, Mythologia Fenica, or Mythologia Fenica, or that's my Italian's coming up, Mythologia. Anyway, oh my God, look at the backs. So I really look forward to getting to know this deck, and thank you so much. People, this was all in the same box. Wait, there's more. I'm so blessed and so fortunate, I can't even tell you. The next one is a deck that kind of would have been, should have been considered a no-brainer for me. But because I already have other decks that serve that kind of purpose, I just never got around to ordering this one. And it's the Santos and Signs by Melissa Lucia. I hope that's her name. And my friend sent it to me. I have Voices of Saints. I have L'Oracle des Saints Protecteurs, the French deck. Oracle, the Voices of Saints, I think that one is in multiple languages, Lo Scarabeo, the other one's in French. And they're straight, L'Oracle des Saints Protecteurs is straight saint, like, you know, prayer cards. So you have the saint and you have the prayer. You open up the guidebook, it tells you a little bit about the saint's history, a little bit about what they're the patron saint of, miracles performed, illnesses that that they're associated with, that people would petition for help with, for healing. So that one's like straight, like L'Oracle des Saints Protecteurs is an oracle deck really of prayer cards, and it's beautiful. And Voices of Saints, Lo Scarabeo tried to do something a little different with that. There's 78 cards, which is misleading because it's not a tarot. They're an oracle because there's like very little written in the little white book, right? It'll tell you who the saint is. I think the year they were alive, and the years they were alive, and then it has a little oracle blurb, which may or may not jive with the person with the history of that saint or their miracles performed. You know what I'm saying? So Voices of Saints is a deck that I thought, for me to really be able to get the most out of it, I would have to go saint by saint and just create my own guidebook, which might be a project for a rainy day. I don't know. It's not like I have that kind of time right now. But to go saint by saint and do the little bio of the saint, what their mundane life prior to, because one thing all saints have in common, and like specifically the saints I work with, but also look specifically Catholic saints. I'm not saying that because there's saints in other religions too, right? In other traditions, there's not just Catholic saints. But the one thing that they all have in common is the Catholic saints is that they were people before they became these incredible, like they were like just regular people. Some of them were like shitty people too, or just ordinary people, or just rich people, or just, you know, vapid people. Whatever you want, whatever word you want, whatever adjective you want to use for them. But they had mundane lives. They were people. And then they somehow had like some kind of shift where they went into a life of service, and there they performed miracles, they died, and now we know them as saints. Voices of Saints needs that kind of guidebook. It needs to have at least something similar to L'Oracle des Saints Protecteurs. And there's very little overlap between those two decks. So if you're out looking and you come across both of them, grab both of them, because there's very, very little overlap in saints between those two decks. But what I was saying that was really long-winded was for Voices of Saints to really be purposeful for me, I would have to have that. I would have to write that guidebook, because there's a lot of obscure saints in there, and to at least have proper attributes for them, for it to be really valuable. Anyway, all that to come back to Santos and Signs. I'll be honest, I don't know much about the creation of this deck, but I can tell you this much. These are the backs. When I saw it on screen, like I would see like a video or whatever, it didn't click for me. It just didn't click. Holding them and actually drawing a card, I totally get it now, because, well, I'm Italian. Well, I'm American, and I live in Canada now, but you know, my parents were Italian immigrants. I was raised Italian. That's my ethnicity. We're all about signs, omens, in everyday things. And I totally see the signs and omens in these cards with respect to whatever my question is, or, you know, and like some of these is like, but it's not only that. It reminds me of how as a kid, or even now as an adult, where I'll be driving by a billboard or something, and a part of it will stand out to me as a message from Spirit. So, thank you. Because it really surprised me how much and then the other half of the deck, I think it's half or less cards, is just words. And just to try it out yesterday, I picked a word and a card, and it was just right on. Also, sometimes I find, and this is the same with other cards too, like other oracles and even with tarot cards that are very specific. Working with decks like, you know, like Voices of Saints or L'Oracle des Saints Protecteurs is very limiting. It's very limiting because the card tells you who the saint is and what they're the patron of. You know what I mean? Like it's very limiting. Something like this is abstract, and something like this is abstract. Therefore, it's less limiting, and there's room for your own interpretation and meaning. So, yeah. And last but not least, because oh my god, this video is like 44 minutes so far. If you're still with me, thank you. It's good to have company. And the next deck, same friend. I'm telling you, people, I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. The same friend included this deck. She showed it to me. We were doing like a video hangout thing, right? We were hanging out on video, on Zoom. She showed it to me and I didn't get it. What I mean was, I looked at it and I thought, no, I don't think so. Nah, I don't think it's me. She sent it anyway because she knew better than me. She's not wrong. It's the She-Wolf Tarot. This one, I didn't even hear about it until she showed it to me, and I said, yeah, I don't think it's for me. Oh my gosh. I'm sure I'll find the name of the creator on this, I promise. So, first of all, let's talk about the color palette is freaking gorgeous. This mauve and aqua, and it's like so... There's so many things wrong with this deck when it comes to what I say is my preference. So here it is. This is Devaney Amber Wolf, written and edited by Devaney Amber Wolf. And the creator of the Serpent Fire Tarot as well. So you might be watching this going, oh my God, Grace, seriously, how do you not know? I don't know, okay? But here's what I do know. I didn't think this was for me. It has photographic people in it. Like, it's photographs of people that are and it's photo manipulation, digital photo manipulation. It's collage. And it's, let me show you. It's gilded in rose gold. Oh my God, right? It's a beautiful, slippery, glossy cardstock. Beautiful. It's photographs of real people. They're digitally manipulated. They're collaged, the whole thing. Yet, and I found the word in the guidebook. I opened to a page that said retro futuristic. And oh my God, yes. Nudity alert, people. Retro futuristic indeed. And oh my gosh, between the color palette, look at these backs. Between the color palette and the art style, I never would have pursued this deck for myself because it just didn't translate. It's like it didn't communicate to me on screen when my friend showed it to me. But when I flipped through it yesterday, it was, oh my gosh, it's totally my aesthetic. I'm like a lot of people, I'm complex, right? It's like a lot of people, I can't be pigeonholed, you know what I mean? It's like I love Llewellyn, the Llewellyn Tarot. I love that art style. I love El Goliath. But I also love this. This reminds me of Crow's Magic Tarot, which by all accounts of, you know, what it is, it's digital photo manipulation, it's collage and all this stuff. Oh my God, I love this card. So, thank you, Anne, because this, I never would have guessed. I never would have, like, anyway, it's totally my aesthetic. All of it is. All right, people, I will stop with this one. Seriously. Okay, maybe one more. Incredible. And oh, okay, one more. Retro futuristic. Love it. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me. Well, I just do a little show and tell of the stuff I bought, the stuff I ordered, the stuff I bought, the stuff I received as gifts. Again, it's been a really refreshing couple of days here at my house with the snow. The snow is still falling, and I think there's like 6 inches of snow accumulated outside. It's October 23rd. Wearing my Halloween, one of my favorite Halloween. I have 2 Halloween tops. This is one of my favorites. Well, they're both my favorites because I have two, right? Anyway. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I think I knew my next video is going to be, I have some decks that I'm going to be letting go, looking to rehome. So I think that'll be my next video, or that one, or another one that I have in mind. But it's going to be something like that, a little more chit-chatting and coffee. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Bye-bye.